Thank you. And we will get started with the superintendent's report. Mr. Brooks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Just a couple of quick items. First of all, our sixth graders are up at Frost Valley. Our two building administrators and some staff member are up there with them, so it's a wonderful experience that resurrected, 2 years now? This is the third year, I believe? Yeah, great experience for our kids up there, and can't wait to see them come back dreary-eyed tomorrow after their wonderful night up at Frost Valley. Also a quick announcement, grades 7 through 12, our Chromebooks are out in the one-to-one initiative, so all 7 through 12th graders have gotten their Chromebooks. There's still a couple that weren't able to make the meeting yet, so there might be a few that still need to be handed out, but the tech staff and Ms. Heck staff, Mr. Bacazzia's staff are working on getting those all finally pushed out there. Mr. Bacazzias, could you do a quick update on where we are with the communication system?
Anise is in today. We did receive some of it. We have not received 100% of the order, but we did receive some additional items in the past few days. So Anise was in. O'Reef Black is a systems engineer who was on site today, and basically his job is to go through every single one of those phones and program what we call like a master dial plan. So he is working on that. I would expect in the next week or so we see a first draft of that dial plan for review, and what he also will do is then organize all the phones for each building in batches, and then the district will assist in getting those to the buildings, and tech services and Anise will then start rolling those phones out, getting them out to classrooms or offices, plugging them in, and we already did say that we would be overlapping systems. So you'll see a new phone on the desk, you'll see the current phone on the desk which is running as we move towards a cut-over date, which has not been identified yet, but we hope to be in the first half of October.
Thank you. Two important board meetings, well, every board meeting is important, but two coming up for October have a particular theme for future reference. The October 4th meeting is both of them, by the way, will be Student of the Month meetings. But in addition, on October 4th, the board is receiving a presentation from the town of Marlborough regarding a recreation center that is being discussed at the town board level. So the Board of Education invited the town, and the town has accepted an invitation on October 4th to present to the Board of Education. And October 18th, we are gearing up for a financial planning presentation, hosted by Mr. Witherow and our auditor, Ray Pruser. So before then, actually within the next week or two, Mr. Witherow is going to be requesting the Finance Committee to gather to review a couple of elements and focus in specifically on our on our reserve funds, so that we can be prepared for the full presentation with Mr. Pruser and Pat on the 18th. So that's a little precursor to what's coming in October. Also want the board to know that right now we're reviewing our substitute salaries in multiple areas of substitute work. If you see the headlines, the economy appears to be doing very well. And in a strong economy, the job market tightens up. And that's something we're feeling also. So as we see a tightening job market and we see that we're having some difficulty in some areas attaining substitutes, we're going to make some extra efforts to get advertisements out to get people to apply if they still want work. We've got it for you. But we're looking at our competitors around the area to see what's everybody else paying in the different subcategories, and if there is a need for us to make any adjustments to remain competitive, we'll ask the board to review that information and advise on what we should do as far as making any adjustments there. So I've begun making that review, and I'll let you know once I have that information for you. And with that, I do not have anything more to report tonight.
Great, thank you. Move to the student representatives report. Mr. Jackson.
Back to school, and the grounds and the building facilities were phenomenal. They do such a great job
Thanks, Matt. What'd you use for the survey? Okay, cool. Just curious. We're moving student a month to October. So, public comment on the agenda items. Does anybody have any comments on the agenda items? Okay. So we'll move to the consent agenda. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, approve the contract agreements and reports as presented. Personnel recommendations, financial reports for June, July, and August, transportation contract for 2018-19, assessment verification roll, budget increase from donation, budget transfer, new textbook adoption, superintendent conference day added to the student calendar, equipment disposition, Board of Ed unofficial meeting minutes from 9/6/2018. Can I get a motion? Susan, second. James. Any discussion? Okay. Vote.
I'd like to introduce someone that was just appointed as a staff member at the elementary school. So Carly Kowalski, she is from Poughkeepsie, New York. She has certifications in students with disabilities, grades 1 through 6, and childhood education, grades 1 through 6. Her undergraduate degree is from Syracuse University, and she also has a bachelor's from there in inclusive elementary and special education. It was a 5-year program, correct? 4-year program, all condensed into one. Fantastic. Carly, I'm so happy that you're at our elementary school, and I've already seen you doing some productive things, so I'd like to welcome you to Marlboro.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Not coming up. Next one. Is it on yours? Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to the interim healthcare provider. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, appoints nurse practitioner Ms. Midge McClure as the interim basis. All services that can be performed by a school physician under the education law at a rate of $110 per hour for the period of September 1st, 2018 through the date that the district appoints a permanent replacement. Can I get a motion? Susan, second. James? Discussion. Pat, yeah, you just want to give a little...
Sure.
We
So
have the RFP out.
our current physician, our previous physician, Dr. Dyer, had gave us notice that she didn't want to continue. No specific reason why. A lot of these doctor offices are being absorbed by larger practices that then have restrictions on the ability of the doctor to work independently. But again, that's just speculation. She really didn't give a reason. We did ask her if she should continue with us for another 2 months so that we could get physicals done over the summertime, which she agreed to do that. In the meantime, we issued an RFP for physician services, and we had no responses. So we've issued another RFP for physician services, and in the interim, we've discovered that it is legal for a nurse practitioner to perform those functions for a school district. So we're in the process of revising the RFP to include language to specify either a doctor or a nurse practitioner, because we have gotten some indication that there would be interested parties who hold that nurse practitioner certification for the position. So this gives us the ability to continue to function, allowing the physicals to be approved, any other services that are required by a district physician until we can get some applicants through the RFP process.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, cast your vote. So we'll move on to old business. Everybody got a circulated copy of the board goals. Do we have, is there any changes? Are we happy with where we're at? What's the consensus? Have we incorporated, have we got it, everything covered now? Yes, yes. Okay, Susan, you good?
Yeah, you wanted to discuss, have the board discuss the specific, or you had questions about the specific, goal regarding, leadership?
Yeah, I didn't know if, because it referenced specific performance areas that needed to be improved,
Yeah.
and I just didn't know if, listing out what those would be might be further of a dialogue, or is that getting down a little far into the, I don't know. I mean, it's whatever the board wants as far as the verbiage goes. If we're gonna reference specific areas for improvement, I just wanna make sure I know what those areas are, so we can focus in on those.
But the verbiage was changed, so it's not an issue.
Right, I pulled that out just for the sake of discussion, but we can always add it in.
That's fine,
So,
unless anyone has questions.
No, I'm good with the changes to where we're at. Good, good. Okay, so we gotta do a resolution, yeah, so we'll make a motion to adopt the visioning goals for the 18-19 year school year. Can I get a, Susan, second? Russell, any further discussion? John? We're gonna vote, we're gonna do his vote by. Yes. Susan?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay. Anybody have any other old business? Anybody have any new business? Just want to bring up one thing from another meeting, different meeting I was at today. On October the 1st, the governor is holding listening sessions around the state on his brilliant idea to legalize marijuana. If you're interested, they haven't announced where it's going to be in Newburgh yet, but it is going to be on October the 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. There was an interesting article in the Poughkeepsie Journal, and there was some speakers at a meeting today talking about what Colorado has gone through. And although it's illegal for youth still, that they have seen an increase in the youth the past month when they do the surveys, youth, they've seen an increase of 20% in the 2-year average since Colorado legalized marijuana. And although some of the professionals talk about marijuana not being as a bigger problem when people do it compared to alcohol, alcohol hasn't gone anywhere. And when you talk to the professionals, you combine the two and put people out on the street, it's even worse. So I know a bunch of people that are going to be going. If you can't go and you have an opinion either way, you really should reach out to your representatives or whoever gets elected. I'm not assuming, because they're just doing the listening tour right now, that it's going to be anything they're going to do until after this year's elections. But the schools, and this is where I think it's important for us, ultimately deal with the children every day. And if we have issues with other drugs and other problems, this is just going to compound the issues, in my opinion. It's not something, although they don't a lot of times ask for our input, it's something we definitely should make sure our voice is heard on and get something out. And I would think probably down the road, I haven't seen anything from NISBA from a position point yet on it, but something that we may want to, after they get done with the listening sessions, before they do something, as a group, take a position and have it be heard at the state level before they do whatever they're going to do. So, just, they haven't announced it. They did publish a phone number you could call to find out, and it's 518-474-8390. They're coordinated all through the governor's office. So, any other items?
Regarding Goal 8, the Board of Education is keenly aware of the changing health needs of some in our community. To this end, we will support programs and services which empower students, families, and staff to maintain a mentally healthy lifestyle. The Cornell Cooperative Extension provides various types of parenting classes. It's amazing. I always thought when I was in college studying early childhood education how, we have to have a driver's license to drive a car, but we can just go into parenting completely blind. And it's really a very interesting program because they cover so many various topics. So, of course, I had the envelope in my bag, and for whatever reason, I guess my bag is too big. I can't find the envelope. My husband always says, the bag is too big. You can't find anything. So I'll agree with him. I can't find the dates. But I will get them to you because they are in various local locations. And the topics seem to be very interesting. And for those families who are in need of that extra support, it's really a great program. Yep.
Any other items? Okay. Recognition of district residents and others? We may beat Bill last meeting. Motion to adjourn. James, second. Susan, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the 4th. Please have some people come out the 4th. It's going to be nice. It's going to be a combined group. It'll be nice to hear what the town's talking about and where they're going with this plan. So it'll be nice to have some people here to listen to what they have to